Hello and welcome to my new FPL YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is FPL Pickle, and over the last 2 seasons I've managed to obtain 2 top 2k ranks, one being 1.9k and one being the 511th in the world. So I wanted to create a YouTube channel because not only am I obsessed with FPL, I really wanted this season to share my perspectives on how I play the game. Now don't get me wrong, I do use things like the eye test and the data to make a lot of my decisions, but there's one aspect of my game that I feel like is really underrated, and it's something that I use a lot, and that is my gut feeling. I still weigh up these gut feelings, but more often than not I will go ahead with them, and they don't always work out by any means, but I do feel like it's something that has contributed towards my success over the last 2 seasons, and I do feel like your gut feeling is quite an underrated aspect of the game that you could utilise, so it's something that I advocate quite a lot. So with that in mind, I wanted to share with you today an FPL draft that I've come up with that involves using the bench boost chip in Game Week 3. Now I know a lot of people are talking about using the bench boost chip in Game Week 1 and Game Week 2, and that strategy might become even more viable with the likes of Darlow and Dubravka potentially becoming options. But for now, the Game Week 3 bench boost is something that I'm quite interested in. So if you enjoyed today's video, please like and also consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate the support. And also in the comments, let me know what you like about the draft, whether there's aspects of it that you really dislike. And also I'd be really interested in what strategies you're going for chip-wise at the start of this season. I know that with the addition of DEFCON and things, I think that there will be more variety in the game, which is really exciting. So yeah, on that note, let's get into the FPL draft. So to start off with, let's talk about the goalkeepers. So I have Sanchez from Chelsea as my main goalkeeper, and then I have Kelleher from Brentford on the bench. So Sanchez, only 15.1% owned overall, but I feel like amongst engaged managers is quite a popular pick, and with good reason I'd say. I feel like Chelsea are quite an underrated defence, and they did pretty well last season in terms of underlying XGC. And I feel like Sanchez provides quite a cheap route into the Chelsea defence, and with good fixtures as well, I think that he's a decent pick. And Kelleher, although Brentford have had quite a lot of losses over this summer, with Thomas Frank leaving, players like Norgard and Burmo leaving, it leaves a lot of fans questioning how the team will perform this season, but I think that Kelleher will be a good pick and that he'll make quite a lot of saves. The fixtures are a little bit difficult, but we'll see later with Bench Boost 3 that he has quite a nice fixture with Sunderland away. So with that in mind, I really like him as a pick. So moving on to the defence, we've got Nico Williams, we've got Gvardiol, Van de Ven, and then on the bench we've got Konza and Dorgu. So when it comes to Nottingham Forest defence, that is not something that I want to go without this season. Last year they played so well defensively, and I feel like Nico Williams provides a really nice cheap route into the Nottingham Forest defence. I will admit that the addition of DEFCON points of things, players like Murillo do become very interesting, but with the sparing of 0.5 million and the fact that Nico Williams does also provide a bit of threat from open play, I think that he's a really nice option. I'd like to go ahead with him this season. And then Gvardiol, I really like him because one, he covers the premium defence price point, but also we know how attacking he can be. I know that obviously Ryan Nuri signed for Man City and therefore Gvardiol is going to move to centre-back, but he still will be a threat from set pieces, and I do think that Man City will improve defensively this year. Also, they've got pretty nice fixtures to start off with, so I think that he's a really nice option. However, the downside possibly is that because Man City don't really defend all that much, that he won't really accumulate as many DEFCON points compared to the likes of Virgil van Dijk and Gabriel, so they might become more popular or better picks in the future. Van Dijk you could argue with going for right now. I think I just look at the fixtures and for the first few and think, oh, those are horrible, but at the same time, I suppose if the fixtures are bad, then Van Dijk is more likely to accumulate DEFCON points, and when it gets to Game Week 4 where they have Burnley away, you know, that is going to be a point if I don't have a Liverpool defender where I'm wishing I did have one. So it might be better to just go with Van Dijk here, or it might be that I start with Gvardiol and then move to Van Dijk in Game Week 4, Game Week 5. Let me know what you think. What do you think the better strategy would be? And then Van de Ven, to be honest with you, Spurs defence don't exactly blow me away by any means, but with this one I'm mainly attacking the good fixture, Burnley at home. It's one that you can't really ignore. So that's why I have him in. And in game week 3, when I would plan to do the bench boost, he has Bournemouth at home, and Bournemouth haven't really been overly convincing this pre-season, plus they've lost so many of their players. So I think that that's also a decent fixture, and I'd be happy to play him then. So there are players with the likes of Romero that you could go for, but then again, that's 0.5 million more that you have to spend. So I think for 4.5 million, Van de Ven is a very good option. I'm happy to have him in my team. Now on the bench, I've got Konza, and I know what you're thinking, boring, right? But, you know, he's a 90-minute man, very reliable player. As a Villa fan, I love him. And in game week 3, he has Crystal Palace at home, which is a pretty good fixture. I have toyed with the idea of a player like Coyote from Brentford, he'd also have Sunderland away, which is a very nice fixture. I think he's going a little bit under the radar, by the way, so I would consider him if you're thinking about a spicy pick. But Konsa also, another reason why I put him in my draft, when looking at this draft specifically, is that in game week 4, the defence overall looks a little bit horror. But I know that Konsa has Everton away, which isn't too bad of a fixture, whereas the Brentford defenders have Chelsea at home, which isn't really ideal. So I think just to have that kind of good rotation and not having to force moves in the future. So I decided that Konsa would be a better pick here. Let me know down in the comments what you think, and whether you think that there are any other defenders that are 4.5 million that would be more suitable for the bench boost 3. I'd be really interested to know. And then finally on the bench we have Dorgu. He does seem really exciting and he looks very, very attacking, but to be honest with you, I've mainly targeted him for the Burnley at home fixture in game week 3 just for the bench boost, because I think other than that game week, the fixtures alongside it on both sides aren't really that great. So that's the only reason why I'm picking him here, to be honest. There's not much more to say than that, but no shade to Man United fans. On that note, I will swiftly move on to the midfielders. So first of all, we have the one and only Salah, and he has my captain armband as well. I mean, do I have to say much about Salah? I'm not going without him. I mean, to be fair, last season, starting off with just Haaland turned out very, very well. But then eventually when Salah just started pelting in so many goals and I didn't have him, it was honestly the worst feeling ever. I remember on my birthday even, I turned off D&D and saw that Salah had scored again. And it's just heart-wrenching, so I just can't go without that man. He played really well last night as well. Missed a pen, but I feel like he's got his dodgy odd missed pen out of the way, so I think we're good for the rest of the season. But yeah, good starting fixture. I just trust him at all times, so yeah, he'll be in the team. And then Palmer, another kind of no-brainer for me. As I've mentioned earlier, Chelsea have really, really good fixtures, and 90-minute man on pens, reliable. We just know what Palmer can do. He's such a good player. And, with the likes of João Pedro and things, we haven't really seen enough of him to see whether he can cover him. I don't really like to use that term because João Pedro is not covering Palmer by any means. But yeah, we haven't seen enough of those other attackers anyway, in my opinion, to justify picking them over Palmer. So I'm willing to spend that money on Palmer to have him. So yeah, another no-brainer for me. And then Rodgers, again, maybe not a no-brainer, but as a Villa fan as well, Rodgers, we've seen what he can do. Another reliable 90-minute man, always playing, never misses a minute basically. We know we know what he can do, and he's been playing really well in pre-season so far, working really well with Watkins. And I know that a lot of people have been discussing Marlon, that he could become a really, really good pick at 5.5 million, saving a lot of money. But my initial worries were that, that Emery only really sees him as a second striker, and is he really going to play those minutes? But I've heard not too long ago that we might be signing a new player that kind of plays right wing and striker. So from that information alone, I think Marlon's a no-go, unfortunately. And I think if you want a reliable Villa midfielder, then Rodgers is your go-to. We saw that what he could do last season, and so I have no doubt that he's going to be in my team this season. Now, Eze. This man, I don't know. I'm Eze's biggest fan, guys. I know that Crystal Palace don't have the best fixtures in the world to begin with, but I don't think they're that bad. And Eze, on penalties most likely, on set pieces, he's such a baller. I just think every season he goes underrated. And I know last season it was a bit unfortunate with the whole Sarr and Eze debate. And, I went with my gut feeling, like I say, and I thought, you know what, Eze's more expensive, but I just think he's going to do better. We know how good he is, and Sarr is such a good footballer as well, but I just had a feeling that he'd do well, and he's one of the reasons why my rank boosted up, so for him, I have a lot to thank him for, and I'd really like him in my team, so that's why he's in for now. I could maybe with the budget it's very difficult, but I could consider having a cheaper midfielder and Mateta, spoiler alert, rather than having Eze. But I think for now I would love to have Eze in my team, so he's locked in for now. And then Anderson, the 5.5 million midfielder, boring, I know, but Nottingham Forest have very good fixtures, and we saw that last year, based on the information we have, that Anderson was accumulating a lot of DEFCON points, and he'll probably do the same again this season. So I think he's the most reliable for minutes as well, so I'm happy to have him. Could also consider the likes of Wilson from Fulham. He's been having a stormer of a pre-season, let's put it that way, and I am very tempted, I won't lie, I'm very, very tempted. But I think for now, based on fixtures and reliability, Anderson's going to stay in my team. Let me know what you think of the midfield. I don't feel like it's the most surprising thing in the world, but let me know if there's anything you particularly like about it, or if there's anything that you change. But for now, let's move on to the forwards. Okay, so here are the forwards. Now, I'll be honest, I feel like this is where the team starts to slightly go downhill, and this is maybe where we could discuss some cons of the team that I've developed here. But we've got Watkins to start off with. What a man. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I don't have him in FPL a lot, and I don't know whether it's to do with the price point or what, but I never seem to have him, and initially I wasn't going to have him. I was thinking more of a Wood and Mateta together, but we've seen how Watkins has been performing this pre-season, and I just don't think I can go without him. Also, we know about Gyökeres that's joined Arsenal, and Watkins provides a very easy route to Gyökeres if that be necessary. So I guess to avoid blocking that option out for me, or to avoid making it really difficult for myself, I think Watkins is the most, I guess, obvious choice here. I really like having him in my team anyway. I think having him and Rodgers, it makes me really excited. I don't normally have 3 Villa players in my team, and it's nice to have them. But just seeing how they've been playing together this pre-season, I feel very optimistic about Villa. So I'm very, very happy to have Watkins. Now, Peru. He seems really, really good, and he is on pens if Struijk is not on the pitch. But I am a little bit worried because Leeds seem to be wanting a new striker, with Muniz even been linked with joining Leeds. So I have him for now, with Everton at home, which is a pretty good fixture, but I do worry that he might not start if they sign a new striker. There's also the likes of Beto, but we've seen that Moyes is not very happy with him at the moment, and with Barry knocking on the door as well, I'm still quite concerned that Beto's just not going to get the minutes, despite the fixtures being quite good, so I think he's an avoid. So, yeah, the main issue really is that I need a 5.5 million forward, and there aren't really many options. I picked Muniz, but then I'd be worried that he's joining Leeds. Like, it's just so difficult to choose. So, it might be that I do have to downgrade Eze, for example. Maybe to Sarr even, after saying all of what I said before, just to get another 6.5 million forward, like a Welbeck, for example. Then that wouldn't be very good on the bench boost, and that's why I've not really picked him, so I'll talk about that in a bit. So yeah, this is where things get a bit tricky, and this is where having a lot of money on the bench is a bit of a con to the team that I've built. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about Peru? Do you think he'll be a good option? Am I overthinking things, or do you think I'm right in thinking that he might be a bit of a risky pick here? So yeah, on the bench we have Strand Larsen, and I do think that he is a pick that's going a little bit under the radar. Wolves have signed some new players, but yeah, their starting 11 still doesn't look great, to be fair, so maybe that's why. But Strand Larsen is on penalties, and I know that Wolves didn't get many penalties last year, but that doesn't mean the same thing will happen again. But yeah, they have in game week 3, they have Everton at home, which is a pretty good fixture. And over the next game weeks after that, their fixtures actually look quite nice. So I'd be happy to have him in my team. Like I mentioned, I could consider the likes of a Welbeck, which would probably be better picks in the beginning. But they have Man City at home in game week 3, which isn't, maybe you could argue that's not too bad, but for the bench boost, I wouldn't be overly happy with that. So that's why I've gone with Strand Larsen for now. I think he'll be a nice pick on the bench boost. And yeah, again with the 6.5 million price range, there aren't really that many options. So yeah, like I mentioned, the forward spot's a little bit limited in terms of what I can pick, and it comes with a bit more risk. But what I'll do now is show you what the bench boost 3 will look like, and you'll have to let me know what you think. So what I've done here is plug my team into FPL Team. Pete, what a legend for this website, shouting him out. It's such a good website, I use it all the time. But yeah, so this is basically what you saw on the slide before, what my team would look like in game week 1. Nothing much to say there. Definitely wouldn't want to bench boost that would look stinky. So let's have a look at game week 2. So this, yeah, doesn't look too bad. I'd probably, Dorgu versus Konza, I'd probably start Dorgu, but it's a bit of a difficult decision. But other than that, I like it. Obviously wouldn't start Peru here, and Strand Larsen with Bournemouth away, pretty nice fixture. So yeah, pretty happy with that. And then game week 3, so this is what the bench boost would look like. Kelleher with Sunderland away, which is pretty nice. Could argue that Peru could be here rather than Anderson, but Newcastle, I don't know, they're not very convincing at the moment. I don't know whether it's just me, but I wouldn't mind having Peru here, but you could have him here. But either way, Anderson and Peru, not too bad. You could argue Newcastle's not the best fixture in the world, but it's not too bad. And let's say we see that Beto continues to start, then maybe I could put Beto in, and then I have Beto against Wolves away, so not the worst. Then Konza against Crystal Palace at home. Yes, I have Eze, but again, not the worst thing in the world, and I could consider having Coyote here instead of Konza, so I'd have Sunderland away. And then Van der Ven, Bournemouth at home. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm not too convinced about Bournemouth at the moment. I feel like defensively they are going to struggle a little bit, and they don't seem like they really know how to communicate with each other at the back. I don't know, you'll have to let me know what you think, but I'm pretty happy having Van der Ven here, and I think because of that they're going to struggle, and I think the Spurs will be on top in that game. So, and yeah, with Dorgu, Burnley at home, all these fixtures really, I'm pretty happy with them, and even Salah at Arsenal at home, sorry. It's Salah, so he's going to be there regardless, so yeah. That's the bench boost, let me know what you think. And again, with Darlow from Leeds and potentially Dubravka to Burnley being potential options as £4 million goalkeepers, I could see why people may opt for the bench boost 1, bench boost 2, because you'd have more money to spend in the starting 11. But for now, I really do like this bench boost 3 team. To be fair, I haven't really seen many people talk about the bench boost 3, so I hope it's been refreshing for you. And if you are on bench boost 3, please let me know what players you're picking for the bench boost, because I'd be so interested to know. Anyway guys, I hope you've really enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for all of your support. There's plenty more content coming your way soon, so the next video that I'll be recording will be talking about how to achieve a top 10k finish with a little bit of advice from me. And next week I'll also upload a team selection video. So again, if you've enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I also have my Twitter handle. Oh, it's not Twitter anymore, is it? My X handle up above, FPL_Pickle. I'm on there a lot chatting nonsense. So if you'd like to follow me on there, then please do. And I also have my league code up above, and that's 5LIC13. So if you'd like to join my league on FPL, then please do. But yeah, that's it from me, guys. Thank you again so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all again very soon. Bye now.